You are listening to Between the Stretchers, a funeral podcast with all of your funeral industry news. And now your host, Amy, Austin, Ebony, and Scott.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Between the Stretchers. This is our second episode. It's been a long break since the first one. We got busy so quick, and it's been amazing. We've got wonderful clients. We want to thank them. Y'all have been so wonderful and so great. But we have some free time now. We want to get back to Between the Stretchers, and we want to introduce someone long time on staff, our general manager, Ebony Whitmore. Ebony, tell everyone about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ebony Whitmore. I have 10 years experience, actually, in the next couple of weeks in May. 10 years experience in the profession. I have a passion for the profession as well. It's this past couple of years, I thought I knew quite a bit. I learned a lot more, and I'm glad to actually be a member of the show, and of course, a member of A1 Transport Removal and Embalming as well.
Yes, and we want to do a real quick introduction back to just, since it has been such a long time, Austin O'Neill, one of the co-owners.
Yes, and I will tell you one quick plug from the last episode you'll notice. Why do we rub our hands together? I do it because I don't want to be a cold-handed funeral director. I believe it or not, although it's been 2 years ago, I do remember a little bit from the last episode. I will say that I am excited to be back. I'm ready for the education side of it. Information about me probably that you didn't get in the last couple of shots was, yes, I am a licensed funeral director and embalmer in both Georgia and North Carolina. I have a first-generation director, but I am enjoying the industry immensely, and I look forward to see where it goes. Scott?
Awesome. I'm Scott Steiger, if you haven't met me before or seen the first episode, but I'm licensed funeral director and embalmer and one of the other co-owners. We are missing one co-owner tonight, Amy Jo Brown, but hopefully we'll get her on some other episodes. But second generation funeral director, have been part of funeral service most of my life, have a good bit of experience. Austin prefers the backroom work, not that the three of us don't like working everywhere in the funeral home. Every part of it, we love it all. But Austin is a backroom guy. I'm front of the house kind of. I like being out there with the families, and that was a great duo we had when we worked together before A1. Was we had a great group, and I think we built a wonderful team here in A1 where we have all of our strong suits really put out there in the forefront and able to make a wonderful impression for your funeral home. So if there's anything we can ever do, I know, a little bit shameless plug, 404-850-4848. Give us a call and let us make your first impression a great first impression on your removals, embalmings, graveside services, anything that you need help with, we can do it. But we want to dive into our first topic, which was a couple weeks ago, we got to actually meet for the first time in I think 2 or 3 years, the Academy of Graduate Embalmers of Georgia.
Yes.
And we want to kind of talk about our experience there, because not only was it my first time, and I think it was your first time.
It definitely was my first time.
Austin's been there before.
I have. That was actually the first funeral service convention I ever got to go to. My class in Gupton Jones at the time we did attend as students, and I enjoyed it immensely. There were a couple of things they couldn't do in the new facility, but they made up for it with the convention hall, which was wonderful. I will say this, as you said, a little bit of a shameless plug. My alma mater no longer goes to AGEG. If you're watching and you go to Gupton Jones or work there, shame. We've got to fix that. But yes, we got terribly busy between the last episode and now, and we're thrilled to be back. Is it okay if I go ahead and jump into the sponsorship?
Yeah.
We decided to sponsor AGEG, and the reason for this is, number one, because our clientele should be attending AGEG. It is a wonderful educational tool. There are tons of people that attend that have a tremendous amount of information. A lot of the focus this year was on Dover and some of its happenings during 9/11 and during the a war in the Middle East, and they are amazing stories. I would definitely say research that. But we got to sponsor AGEG. They gave us this little placard here, and part of that is we got to go as a group. We got to attend. I got to get my continuing ed, which I needed severely because I had been lazy. But it's a wonderful because they do continuing ed for Georgia, they do continuing ed for Florida, they do it for North Carolina, they do it for, I think, South Carolina and Alabama too, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a huge resource, and
Tennessee.
Yes. And if you are an owner or a manager, sponsor them. They're a good place to put your money because it's education that we are in desperate need of in funeral business.
Yeah. And the good thing is, to all of our clients and future clients, we did go, we learned. So if you didn't go, we have the knowledge and we can help you out. One thing I did take away from the meeting, I don't know if it's happened to y'all. I know we kind of talked about it there, is bodies turning blue on us after embalming. And we found out methylene blue. So, talk to your families, find out before you embalm, ask them if they died of COVID or had COPD or a few other things. It's oxygen. It's a medicine related to helping the body get more oxygen and absorbing it better, and that's something important you want to know because apparently it reacts, as we've seen. The three of us have experienced and sat there and looked at the body and tried to figure out what did we do wrong. Turns out we didn't do anything wrong. We just didn't know they were treated with methylene blue, and I think a lot of what they told us to do was either flush the body or wait. I think they said about 72 hours. To embalm, because that's how much time it takes for it to go inert or inactive.
Yes, it's an oxidizer, so automatically with formaldehyde, it's going to react and it's going to cause discoloration. In this particular situation, yes, they call it methylene blue, but it is pretty much Hulk green. It is the ugliest color you ever seen.
It starts out this blue here, and then it works its way to green, and about to this.
Yes.
So it's if you want to see all the shades of the colors. Embalm methylene blue, but if we can help it, let's change it and start talking to these families and finding out if they're on it, because that it's not fun when it happens.
Yes, but now one tip: if you were down to the wire and you have to have that body out, I know it's not popular. I don't care for it myself, but if you have to have that body out, treat it similarly to jaundice. You can use formaldehyde-free products. They won't react with it like the formaldehyde does. I would suggest just wait the time out. Just tell the family that's something we got to do because of the medicine. But if you don't have that option, go formaldehyde-free. There's several good products out there by Dodge, by Pierce, by Champion especially in that department. So definitely use those options to try to keep from having to put a full face of makeup, because even with the makeup, they're not going to look natural.
No, but they did show some airbrushing techniques there that were pretty interesting, where they had to cover up that methylene blue, and it was amazing what they were able to do. But better not to have to learn how to do the airbrushing than fixing it in the beginning. But we want to quickly jump over to Ebony, and he's going to talk about how we were also an exhibitor at that clinic as well.
Yes, and for me, it was my first experience once again, actually being in the atmosphere of a convention. I always wanted to go, and thanks to A1 Transport Moving Embalming, we were able to go. And it was a lot of networking. I got to meet a lot of people from different regions of the state. Also outside the state, we met some firms from South Carolina. It was a couple from Tennessee. Yes. And it was a couple from North Carolina as well. Yep. And it was a great experience. It was a great experience, very informative. Not judging at all, but and I get it because actually the spokespeople were actually sponsored by actually the fluid company,
Dodge.
By Dodge, excuse me. And the thing is, it was kind of steered towards using their products. But I get it; they were sponsored by Dodge, so of course they're going to steer it in that manner. But I learned a lot. It was a great experience.
And here's our little shameless plaque award showing off a little bit. We've got to show off. And
anytime you pay for something, you have to show off.
Okay. Yes. And something we also want to mention is Southern Calls. They're wonderful magazines.
Loved it.
Great.
Absolutely.
They're amazing. Just to have sitting there, they feel great in your hand when you pick it up to read it. But we are one of the purveyors present on the purveyors page under Georgia, we're actually listed right under A.S. Turner's. But if you check us out, you can see us on there, our website, phone number, and where we're located in Georgia, and all of the issues there. If you go back and look there, we're in there. We do a little advertising in there as well. And overall, I had a wonderful time. They had a lot to talk about. It was a good event. Shield Southeastern from Marietta came out, and they brought some good looking cars to show off. And I think
the last of the Mohicans, the 2021 Dodge Caravan, which unfortunately was the reason why I call it the last Mohicans. It's the last year of production for that vehicle, which
now goes to the Voyager.
Now it goes to the Voyager. But the Voyager, for all intents and purposes, it's like the what's that Chrysler that's getting so popular?
Pacifica.
The Pacifica. It looks like the Pacifica. It just doesn't have the bells and whistles. It's a little bit cheaper to make, so naturally for cars, high mileage vehicles, they're going to go for the cheaper option on the framework, and then add what they want.
Yes.
But hey, if you were in need of rolling stock, or you want to know what is new out there, hit Shields up. We've got 3 Shields cars.
Yep, we had the Cadillac, and something we didn't have back at that last episode. We now have a Cadillac Echelon hearse, and I would have to say the color originally I was not big on it. I know you guys probably weren't either, but man, has that color grown on me. Go to our website, a1funeralservice.net, and check that picture out. It's a great looking car.
Yes, inside and out, the wood trim inside with the 3 tiers on the sides. It's a really good car. It worked out to be well worth its money. We don't use it a lot, but when we do, it makes a statement. And in funeral service, that's necessary.
And something I always thought was the hokiest thing, putting a skylight in a hearse. But when you open that back door and that casket's just shining, you can't beat that.
Nice touch.
Especially with those veteran caskets, it looks like the flag is just jumping out and getting you. It's really nice. Really, really nice.
But that was just kind of our experience with Academy, and we wanted to just kind of talk about it for a few minutes and reintroduce ourselves and bring Ebony on and remind y'all that we are still out here. We're trying to get back into doing this, and we're going to work hard to get you more content.
Yes.
But again, if there's anything we can ever do to help you, call us at 404-850-4848, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Absolutely. I'm Austin.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Ebony. It's a pleasure to meet you guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in for Between the Stretchers.
Like, subscribe, and as always, follow our Facebook page.
Yes.
Yes.